Hey guys, in this Red Gaming Tech video I'm going to be taking a look at Rage and the new patch 1.02. Right, first of all let me say I've tried to do this many times now. I've had issues with the game either crashing or bugging out or, holes literally appearing in the world. I don't know if that's just random coincidence, I don't know, but it's just one of those things. So, what shall we go through? Well, first things first, I'm going to say that I think everyone by now knows the score when Rage was first released. There was a huge amount of disappointment in the PC community that there was a massive lack of graphical options, and id Software have released several patches now which have tried to address this. Now, I'm going to quickly escape and go to settings, video. First of all, you'll notice I'm recording 1080p, which is what I'm exporting this movie at, to YouTube, of course. And VSync is turned off, and this is the major one that's been added: text to detail in this patch. Right, now the term text to detail is quite an interesting one. I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but first of all I'm going to mention a few problems with enabling it. First of all, when you enable it on your machine, it's pretty much pot luck whether you're going to get an error message. I did. It's not a catastrophe though. It merely warns that your system does not have enough processor cores to run it. Now this is odd considering that my system is a high-end system. I'm running at 4.2 GHz on a Sandy Bridge system, and other people are having exactly the same problem on various different configurations. It seems irrelevant of the processor manufacturer, and it also seems to be not a Sandy Bridge problem. Some people are having it on various other Intel processors, so I don't know exactly what's going on there from the quality testers. It's software, but the problem is there, and it is pretty damn annoying. However, it by no means is a make or break. It doesn't, stop you from enabling the option, so at least that's one good thing. Moving on. I will say that the game itself does load a little bit faster since the patch. I'm not 100% sure on that. But moving on, I'm going to talk about the quality of the textures. Detailed texture to some might sound like high resolution textures, and if you were hoping for, say, a 4000 pixel texture or something, I'm afraid you're not going to get it. It doesn't do it. It pretty much seems to add a little bit of grain and so on to textures, especially the distance, mid-range particularly. But for example, if we were to take a look at this piece of grass, or what should count as a piece of grass, it really does not look that different, does it? It's still the same old thing, which is to be expected. After all, that is just a texture. But it certainly doesn't make a difference. Even the side, still lowest resolution. The game's sky looks still very pretty, as you'd expect. And of course there's still detail like that. id Software's engine is very impressive for what it does do. Unfortunately, I just don't think it was optimised well enough for PC, and these few patches, to me, considering the length of time, for example, from the last patch, they just aren't enough. And the problem with the engine is, quite simply, it's not fan accessible. In other words, from what I've read, please feel free to correct me on this, but from what I've read and done research on, which is limited, I'll be honest, it seems like the game's not highly supportive of modding. This means that fans cannot simply just release their own texture packs, for example, for the game say Skyrim or various other games, which is a shame. But with that said, I'm gonna stop the video. I'm going to disable the option, and I'm going to stand about here for a few moments, and I'll just kind of let you guys see the difference with it on and off on a side-by-side comparison, and I'll give you my closing thoughts. Now, the good news is, this new thing, for me at least, doesn't seem to massively alter frames per second. I roughly was getting the same on and off. So this is with it off, and as you can right away tell, there's an error in the textures right there. Now I had to reload the game, although it tells me you have to reload it. Although when you enable that option, it does seem to automatically change in the background, so you might not have to reload. But I did so anyway, just to make certain. Anyway, this is with it off, and you can tell in the side-by-side comparison, not much has changed. I'll quickly go to, say, the blade of grass and so on, and you can have a look round. Now, I just used this spot because I have gone to other areas earlier. I have done some initial testing, and unless I'm really missing something, I even checked on, you know, people and so on. There's not a great deal of difference. So what you're going to ask me now is it worth downloading the patch? Definitely, of course. It's always worth keeping your client up to date. That's not a problem. If you don't own the game and you are looking to buy the game when the game's patched, is it worth doing that? Well, to be honest, no. If you were holding out because you want a really high resolution patch, then no, it's not. If you're holding out gameplay wise, I definitely would recommend the game. It's still a very fun game. I haven't gotten that far, so don't use this for a review. This is just me ranting about this one patch. It's by no means an opinion of the game itself. I think it's a very fun game, although I'm not going to do a review on it. I think it's, people have probably made up their own mind on it. But if you are, seeing the game on, say, a Steam sale or something, then I'd probably recommend it if it's going fairly cheap, like, £20 or, £10, something like that. Then I'd probably recommend it. I think I paid about 15 or so, I don't remember. Anyway, it was worth it, and I've very much enjoyed it. So, I'm really hoping id Software will pull its finger out, shall I say, for the new version of Doom, and of course future Quakes, and whatever else it decides to do. But with all that said, if you're looking for a very high resolution, version of this game, I'm afraid this patch does not do the trick. I doubt they're going to do another patch, but of course I don't know what John Carmack and co are thinking, as well as Bethesda. But anyway, I think that's enough of this video. I've certainly had a good impression of it, and I don't think huge amounts has changed. As I've said before, just to summarise, I think primarily it affects mid-range, adds a little bit of kind of fudge, shall we say, to the mid-range, and it does help, but it certainly doesn't do what you'd expect it to, considering the name. It doesn't add huge high-resolution textures, but it was a free patch, so I suppose at least we've got the option. So, it's not awful. I suppose at least they're still supporting the game. So, I'll take it. I'm a bit disappointed with a few of the bugs that are still remaining in the game. Anyway, I'm going to call this video. I hope you guys have found it at least slightly useful. So, bye for now and take care.